Fan TV. Back once again with West Ham Fan TV Live with my old mate Ryan Archer. How you doing, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. You? I'm a little bit better after Saturday now. I'm still, I'm a little bit pissed off still, but yeah, it's. Apart from that, I'm all right.
Well, I've titled this video, "Is it excusable to be beat by Man City 5-0?" Now, there's obviously an obvious answer to this: is no. I mean, to be honest, the performance was inexcusable at the end, but for 30 minutes, I was quite positive.
Yeah, do you know what? I was thinking the same. I know we said on post-match point, I watched it back the next day, and we were saying that, yes, Man City, you sort of expect it, but then when you think about it, like losing 5-0 at home to sort of any team, and it was a bit. I mean, I watched the replays back, and it was embarrassing at sometimes how slow we was off the ball. I mean, there was for the second goal where Declan Rice lost the ball, and he was just sort of like jogging back, and then Creswell as well for the fourth goal, I think it was.
Yeah,
it's yes. I mean, you can't keep. What we're going to do next season when we play Man City at home? We're just going to say, well, what's the point of going? We're going to lose 4 or 5-0. We've got to start with. I mean, look, I don't want to keep going back to it, but when we played at the Bowling Ground, we used to give City a game, and I can't. We beat them the last couple of times we played there. We drew the last one, beat them there. We give them a game, and just because it's a big pitch, bigger stadium, you allow teams like City that space, they're going to destroy you, and they did. I mean, they didn't even come out of second gear, and they could have upped that, and they could have beat a 6 or 7.
Yeah, I mean, when I look back at it, I mean, it was a little bit of second half was a little bit of just a collapse, and that concerns me. The collapse concerns me. They are a good team, Manchester City. But as I say before, as I said, I think I said this on post-match pint, to sort of get into these teams, you've got to get into them. Do you know what I mean? You've got to get in their faces, stop them from playing, and that's where I think we lack a little bit. That's I think the desire, and it seems to be from like players like Creswell who have been here for a little while. We've seen a couple of regimes who think they're mainstays and sort of pieces of the furniture at the ground, and I think they can just stroll around and they get in a team and all that sort of thing. He hasn't really got. I mean, Masuaku, I thought he was going to be a certain starter, and I'm sure he wasn't even on the bench, was he? Might have fitness issues or something like that, but it's just that look, I'm going to say it now. Without Noble in the team, there's no fight in the team.
I've said that. My feed. I've told you with Mark Noble, he might not be the quickest, he might not be the most skillfulest, but he gives you that little bit of fight and bite in midfield. Declan Rice was putting in tackles. So I mean, some people said I was a bit harsh on Declan Rice. I don't think I was harsh on Declan Rice. The boy's going to make mistakes. You've got to pull him up on it. We all love Declan Rice, but people pull players up like Noble and Anderson when they make mistakes. So Declan Rice needs to be pulled up as well. But no, look, you're right. We do lack a lot of that in the team. It's good having these flair players sometimes, but sometimes you need the players in there. They're going to put the tackles in, because when you watch Man City back, they were doing it. They were doing the fouls off the ball, and I know it is sort of cheating, but it worked because it broke. Every time we got that ball, it broke up our play, and they got to settle back into their formation and win the ball back and then pass it about. We was chasing shadows at times.
Absolutely. Yeah, just getting stuck in it. Like you can be the least skilled footballer in the world, but if you try, then that will get you somewhere at times. You know what I mean? Like, especially with the fans, go down with the fans. As I said, when I watched it back, just the lack of like Creswell. Creswell annoys me because I've heard all sorts of stories about Creswell over the years. I won't repeat any on here because it's probably like not the right thing to do. But he wasn't. You've got to have people that are going to break their neck against the top teams. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's a little bit of fitness issues. Maybe it's a little bit of, by that type of thinking, what's the fucking point? Blah, 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 blah. But yeah, loads of people in the comments, like saying, like I just see one from Darren Clarkson just said, we need a midfield destroyer, someone big, strong, athletic who can get stuck in and get us up and down the pitch. Absolutely.
We need a type of player like we had with Kiate when he first signed for the club. Big, powerful, you know, he can break up play, run with the ball. We need someone like that in midfield because, look, I like Jack Wilshere. I do like him, but he's not going to give you that all the time. You know, Declan Rice, look, I don't want to be critical of Declan Rice, but I thought he had a bad game on Saturday, but he was still probably one of our better players. So that shows how poor the rest of them were.
Look, Maxi Del Livingi, I hope I've got that right. Fitness, pro athletes, 50k a week. Really, I can stay fit year round without that mindset. Yeah, absolutely, mate. But it seems to be a problem that we've seen time and time again at West Ham. Ruben Bloch, William Carvalho, someone that we've for a long way.
Similar type of player to what Kiate was. You know, we was linked with Wanyama as well. Whether that was ever going to happen, but he would have been a perfect player to have in the midfield. We just need someone in there that. I mean, look, I looked at our fixtures. Our next 4 games, 3 of them are away from home.
Mm.
You know, we've got Watford, Brighton, and Villa away from home, with Norwich in between that. So you've got to start picking up the points. Because I was saying this earlier, if we go 2 or 3 games without picking up a point, Pellegrini, I know it's early in the season, but there's going to be questions. There's going to be questions, asked, and he'll be under pressure. The fans will be on his back straight away.
There was all sorts of rumours flying about today. I don't know whether you've seen them, mate, about Pellegrini only having a few games and Mourinho sitting on the sidelines. What do you make about that? Do you think that's true? I can't see it being true.
No, I can't see that being true. Not yet, anyway. But as I said, if he goes 5 or 6 games, mate, there's some good managers out of work. And you just said one there. I know you're not a big fan of Mourinho, but listen, let's not really talk about that now. Pellegrini's our man. It's been 1 game we played Man City. We need to remember that. Let's judge him over the next 4 games when we play Norwich, Watford, Villa, and who else was it? Brighton. Yeah.
What do you think about the trip to Brighton? Do you think the players would have had their confidence knocked?
Yeah. Look, it's no good. Any sportsman don't want to lose. You lose 5-0 at home. It's embarrassing. You know, them players have got to look at themselves. They've got to come in training today, and they've got to work hard this week. The Man City game's done now. We can't do nothing about that. All they can do now is go out on Saturday, put in a good performance, get 3 points, and then look, the fans are going to be happy again. We'll be sitting here next Monday saying, "Look how great we was at Brighton." But on the other end, if we lose the game, they're under pressure.
Ryan Anderson says we ain't getting Jose. I still believe in the Pellegrini project.
So do I.
Somebody just said to me up here, something about, do you think Pellegrini's too stubborn? Let me see if I can find that comment.
I was a bit surprised with the Antonio substitution on Saturday. I thought Antonio was probably one of the better players in the half for us. To take him off, I think once they took him off, that left Creswell exposed a lot down that left-hand side, and that's where we was getting caught out, and that's where most of the play come from in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what that must have been an injury. It
wasn't. It was tactical. It wasn't an injury. It was tactical. Yeah.
Well, he's got that wrong then, I'm afraid. He was like, the thing is with Antonio, he might not have been having the greatest of games or whatever, but what he gives you is in the industry. 4 that wasn't a game for 4 hours to come on. And I can sort of see where he's coming from because look, first 27 minutes, I thought we was very unlucky to be 1 down. I thought it was a good goal as well. I didn't realise how good a goal it was.
Carl Walker's pace was unbelievable, that first goal. And a great ball in, and Jesus is there to tap it in.
Yeah, and Antonio. It was a great goal, and maybe he was thinking, "Oh, well, he's going to give us a spark." But the thing is with that, if you take away the industry in a game like that, which is something that we badly lack at times, you're relying on attacking flair, and I don't think that we've got that in droves. We was playing good spells, but I don't think we've got attacking fair in droves, especially against an organised team like Man City.
I got the feeling that he was just so desperate to get 4-0 on, because if Antonio would have stayed on, then that would have been 1-0 after 65, 70 minutes. Then you chuck on 4-0 to try to get the equaliser. But look, we found ourselves 2-0 down early, and then before you know it, it's 3-4, game over. You know, we're out of the game. It's just trying to keep the scoreline down as much as we can.
Hammerwell says the team needs some warm weather training sessions. Yeah,
Get them out to Miami.
They're in China all summer. We can't get any worse than that. There's one for you, right? This will cheer you up. The Chelsea fans are back. Lost 0-0 and we're still above West Ham. Yeah, but we played the good half of Manchester. You played the shit half. Nicky Ryan, very good studio for PMP. No more train passing noise. Well,
we do have a train going past, but you just don't hear it.
Darren Clarkson says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We played well first half. Should have kept Antonio on and left the same team to start the second. I agree. I think
it's a learning curve in it for Pellegrini. You know, look. We knew it was going to be a tough game on Saturday.
That geezer's older than the Bible. If he's still learning now, Jesus.
No, I'm just saying that he's got. Next time, he might think twice before making a half-time substitution when it's only 1-0. But look, he's an experienced Premier League manager who's worked around the world. I ain't, so, and he gets paid for that.
Ken Hammer says Brighton will be tough. They're on a crest of a wave. The only thing is that might help us is Potter wants to play football, so do we. It's not a Houghton Brighton team. It's going to be a good game, I think, Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to. I mean, I was very impressed with the highlights I watched of Brighton the other day. I mean, that was a surprise result of the weekend, I think, because everyone was banging on about Watford. But yeah, Brighton went there and played them off the park, and two of their new players scored on their debut. So that's good, because usually they do it against West Ham. So look, we can go there, we can play football, they can play football. It's just who wants it more on the day. It'll be a good game, as you said.
James Callis says Mourinho breaks players and teams. I think if he came to us, we'd be the first team he got relegated.
I think the interesting one with Mourinho is that he's always managed top clubs with a load of money. So look, maybe if he come to a club like West Ham, you know, but I don't want to talk about like sort of managers at the moment. I'm a fan of Pellegrini, and look, we can turn it around. We can win our next 3 and we'll all be buzzing.
Reece Gouge says, how are we doing, lads? Just a quick cue, and only if you can answer. But is Dom a sore loser? And if we were City, would he be bored still, as he said in the interview on Saturday? He is a sore loser. He is a bit of a sore loser. He goes on a little a rant and rave on match days. But look, we're all disappointed. We're all pissed off.
I'll be totally honest with you, mate. I didn't agree with his comment about, it's boring. It's boring. It must be boring to turn up and watch the team. At the end of the day, we all turn up to a football ground to watch our team win.
Yeah.
So how can you be bored of that? How can you be bored of seeing your team winning the league? I mean, he's saying it's boring. It's a one-horse race. They won the league by a point last year. And don't forget, they were 7 points behind at one point. You know, so it's not boring league. And don't forget that Tottenham beat him in the Champions League. You know, so... Absolutely. It's there's 4 or 5 teams going for that title. It's just that City and Liverpool pulled away last season, but this season it'll be a lot close.
Sofian Aftab says Jose is the best manager in the world by far. Pipe down. I think you're having an agenda against them. He's the best manager in the world by far, mate. When he's got money, and it's not coincidence. He's without a club at the minute.
I ain't got an agenda against Mourinho.
No, he ain't, but I have. I don't like him. Crosshammers, only boring people get bored. I get bored sometimes, Nick, so don't say a lot about me, does it?
Well, we weren't bored on Saturday night, Nick.
Yeah. Imagine Design says the Teletubbies are up for sale. Great midfield that would be. Same speed. I watched our lads on Saturdays running. We're all bunched up in the middle. No easy ball through to the wings. We didn't seem to be able to get the ball out of our feet.
We look nervous at times as well. I think when you come up against teams like City, you're not going to have the ball for long. So it's what you do when you have got the ball. And I just think that we just panicked a lot. And yeah, look, City are world class. De Bruyne, Silva, you know, the list goes on. Look what they brought on.
The bench, man.
I think someone said that our squad was worth 285 million. Their squad was worth 1.1 billion. That match day squads. That's the difference.
Mourinho had no money at Porto when he won the Champions League. Get your facts right, Nicky.
Yeah, get your facts right, mate. He did win it
Mate.
with Porto.
He won it once in a
And
year
then
where it was a poor Champions League. I think he beat a French team in the final. I'm telling you, mate, I don't like him. He's a fraud. He might have been good back then, but he's long outdated now.
I'll tell you what though, just quickly, how young did he lolook? he looks like he's about 10, 15 years younger, bless him.
He's a Sky Sports pundit now, isn't he? That's a lot less stressful, I should imagine. Sean Jobson, West Ham need to learn fast how to tackle and make fouls like City did. We could have saved 2 goals City through that. Absolutely, mate. I think we're naive at times. I do think we're naive at times.
Yeah. But then again, I think if we started doing that, the referees would be picking up a quick bit more. I mean, we didn't even spoke about the VAR yet. I mean, that was watching it back. I mean, the decisions were right. But then, did you see the goal at Leicester? Wolves?
Yes.
Donker?
Yeah, but that's a new rule. That's just a new rule.
That should have stood. I mean, he's got his back to it. The ball. I know if it was in against that, it's going to be swings and roundabouts this season. But come on, things like that, it's just going to ruin the game. It's ruining the game. And I've seen ex-professionals today saying they should scrap VAR and things like that. It's going to take a lot out of the game, mate.
Do you think they will scrap him?
I don't know, mate. It depends how many people sort of protest against it. I mean, I've said from the beginning, I'm not a big fan of it, but it will work. The thing I didn't like on Saturday is it was like a theatre. Like City, when the goal was disallowed, we're all cheering, and you got grown men sitting there every time a decision going like that, and then like Man City when they scored their 3rd goal. If you watch their fans when Sterling went through and lobbed Fabianski, they didn't even celebrate because they think to myself, well, that's going to be offside. So then they don't celebrate until 2 minutes later, which takes the fun out of when you're scoring a goal.
I think the Wolves manager said exactly the same thing, mate. I think he said exactly that. As a matter of fact. It's true. It takes the whole passion out of the game, which makes it great. Listen, at the end of the day, football is a business, and if they start to see like it's a thin line, VAR, it's such a thin line because on one hand, a decision like look, I've seen that replay with the Sterling one, right? And I said I saw it was offside. I was looking at the wrong bloke when I said that. You know what I mean? A lot of people. I was looking at Jesus, who was about 4 yards offside.
It was millimeters, wasn't it?
I didn't know they was looking at Sterling, right? But I'm still not convinced it was offside because they're saying this season, right? You cannot score a goal with any part of your arm, any part of it. So if his arm's offside, he's not offside.
Yeah, I know, mate.
I don't understand. It's just getting so like. It seems like they have a decisive rule, and every couple of seasons they just have to make it more blurred and blurred and blurred. You know what I mean? Like it's just ridiculous.
Tell you what, though, how good was he on Saturday, Sterling? World class.
He's a world class player.
Yeah,
I just want to see world class for England.
It's He's a great player. He's a great player, and his attitude's changed the last year, and he's a great player. And look, there's no taking it away from him. City absolutely battered us. What's that, 22-1 on aggregate since Guardiola's come to London Stadium?
Yeah, it's just a joke.
Don't worry, we'll win 22-0 next year, and we'll get it back.
There's a Man City fan in here. Look, and do you know what? Ivor Anthony, should offside be only be judged on planted feet, not the whole body? I think that's a point. I think
it's right because you score with your feet or your head, but I think it is right. I mean, you look at that Sterling, it was millimeters, and let's be honest, if that was at the other end,
I don't think it's offside. The new rule says you can't score with any part of your arm. That's why that sort of like Wolves goal got disallowed. It was the sort of Man City Tottenham thing last year, wasn't it? When it sort of like ricocheted off his arm. I think they sort of started looking at it like in there. And now the rule is you can't score off any part of your arm. Any part of your arm is and ball, and your shoulder is an extension of your arm. So I still don't think it was offside. Like I don't know.
No. I don't know. It's a close one. It's a close one.
Darren Jenkins said, hard to mark Man City players, but we gave them way too much space. As a bad Cresswell is, he needs to help. Mahrez and Walker were doubling up on him every time. Wingers need to track back more and help.
Especially in the second half when they took Antonio off.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, their movement off the ball. I was sitting there watching them, and I was just like thinking to myself, "How the Man City fans, they must turn up each week thinking, oh, we're going to be entertained today." You got players like Silva, as you said, Mahrez, Sterling, De Bruyne. The list goes on, and it's just the way they play football, and it's the way they work off the ball as well. That's why they win titles.
Imagine Genie Design says, Ryan and Nicky, will there be a time, lads, when we click as a team, have hardly no injuries, sitting in the top 8, and you guys laughing and smiling during the season, and watch other clubs? I laugh and smile anyway.
Yeah, you have to. You can't let it ruin your. You're upset after the game, but by the time we film post-match pint, we're all right. But yeah, I think we can click. We can get the team playing. We've got the right players. It's just about being consistent.
Ryan, have you got the chat up, mate?
Yeah.
Right, spam this person, please. Just keeps on saying poo.
I like it.
Reese Gowd says, I'm sure the new rule is if the ball hops the ref. What?
Hits the ref.
Hits he ref.
It should say hits the ref.
Okay. I'm sure the new rule is if the ball hits the ref, it's automatically drop ball. I'm sure the ball hit the ref in the game Saturday. Don't know.
Yeah, that is a rule. It is a drop ball with it. But I think it's only. I think Man City were on the attack and then it hit the ref, so it didn't break up their play, if that makes sense. So that's why they played on.
Wagsy says, Ryan and Nicky, do you think the offside rule would be better and more efficient if the whole body had to be offside? Yeah, again, I do think that, but that's harder for the linesman to judge. So I do understand it, but they make it harder and harder for referees.
You made me laugh on Saturday because you sit next to me and you was cursing that linesman how he didn't call offside, but then when you look at it, it's only three mil.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking at the wrong man. I was looking because I didn't know what was going on. I was going, how can they're all complaining? I'm going to you. How can they be complaining? Look, he's 4 foot offside.
But the penalty was spot on. Fabianski off his line, 4 players in the box, and Declan Rice was the one that cleared it. So that's why they made it retake it. So yeah.
Absolutely. Darren Clarkson said we should go back to the old school ways on offsides. None of this is not interfering with players' bollocks. Any player on the oppo team behind our last man when the ball is played and it should be offside. It'd make it a lot clearer, mate, to be honest. It'd make it a lot clearer. Like offside shouldn't be interpreted as an opinion. It should be a matter of fact to make it easy for refs, and that would make it a matter of fact.
It was weird seeing the players being allowed to go in the box to get the ball, wasn't it? Because we've never seen that before. I think they used to do it back in the old days, didn't they? But then it became a rule where you couldn't. But so this is the first time in sort of my lifetime that I've seen that, and it was weird, wasn't it? Just seeing the. But look how comfortable they was playing that from the back. But do you know what? Enough of talking about City players. One positive from Saturday was Sebastian Haller. I thought his hold-up play was brilliant. His link-up play. He really impressed me.
He did. There you go, guys. What do you make of Haller in the flesh? Says Tim Murphy. Seems to hold up the ball well. Reminds me of Frederick Canute. A lot of Frederick Canute. Got that sort of lazy swagger about him, but he can do bits. You know what I mean? He looks like he can do bits. You're never ever going to get.
Let's just hope we don't join Tottenham at the end of the season.
Yeah, exactly. Not a West Ham fan, but I think Fornells is a sign in the summer. Absolute class player of huge potential. He is, mate, but I would rather him have stayed off the pitch on Saturday, to be quite honest with you. Man City fan, again, treble winner, says, you were playing the best team in England, so don't get down. Trust me, City would give a lot of teams a good idea this season. I've seen fans, West Ham fans, right? Now, to this guy here, it's not so much that we lost against Man City. We was expecting to lose against Man City. None of us realistically went into that game thinking that we was going to get anything. Like anything we would have got out of that game would have been a bonus, right? It's just the sort of like
we got a good hiding.
Yeah, we got a good idea. But it was just the sort of manner of it at the end, that it seemed like we'd give up. That's the reason we got annoyed. But people are sort of shouting and screaming at me because I said, win some, lose some. Saying to me, like, they're not going to do it to anyone like around us. It's only us that ever get thrashed. No one around us ever seems to get thrashed like that. They beat Watford 6-0 in an FA Cup final.
Hmm.
And
They
that's a
beat
time when Watford would be at their fucking very peak. They beat
beat Chelsea last season 6-0.
They beat Burnley 5-0. Like, he sounded to me like you wouldn't see a Burnley getting beat like that. They beat them 5-0.
We've seen Man City do that to a lot of teams this season.
Yeah, always. Reese Gadd says, is there any way of donating to your channel, Nikki? Coming up very soon, there will be. We'll talk about something very exciting a little bit later at the end of the show. Jamie Thomas, did we give VAR chances? So we did give VAR a chance this season. See where we are come Christmas, then start giving it critically responsibly. That's a good point, I suppose. It's the first game. It's always going to be one of those where the referees start getting overkill on it a little bit, just to sort of make a point. Gio made a good point. You'll see less and less sort of penalties getting retaken for what we saw on Saturday as the season goes on, because it's a bit of a novelty at the minute, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's going to take time. And as I said, it's swings and roundabouts in it. We're going to have decisions go our way, and we're going to have decisions go against us. And that's going to be for every Premier League team. So it's one of them, innit? You just got to get used to it. It is what it is now.
Charlie WWE says the Pixel is back. Yes, mate, the Pixel is back. I came in a bit late and I didn't have time to connect the external camera to it, so unfortunately, it's fucking still there.
I like it.
Mark Sherburn Brown says VAR will take time, but it's the future.
Yeah, and that's what I was just saying. Yeah, it will take a bit of time to getting used to, and yeah, it is the future.
League Cup draw this week. Bet we get Wimbledon. I hope not. I can't stand another trip to there, honestly.
Championship teams are in it, innit?
Yes.
That's West Brom. We're going to get West Brom.
West Brom?
We're going to get West Brom.
Haller was safe, but played it quality, but played it safe. Tidy player, though. Jacob Venskunas says, you can start play in an offside position, not interfering in play, but you gain an advantage when the ball gets played because everyone's not paying attention to you. Exactly. I totally agree. I totally agree with that. Kyle Watkins says, where's Dan? Your guess is as good as mine. Neil from Down Under says, morning, all from South Africa. South Australia, sorry. At 4 a.m. on Tuesday morning. Neil, thank you very much for joining us. Always a pleasure to see you in the chat, mate, especially when you're getting up so early to do so. I really appreciate it. Grandad Glitcher says,
I was just about to say go on the Aussies, but no, we've got them in the Ashes. We're 1-0 down. We need to get that back.
I think he might be an expat. I think he told me before he was English, but he's an expat. I might be wrong, but VAR is only as good as the pundits watching it. Mourinho wins trophy. I'm shocked West Ham fans think we can turn the guy down. He can't win trophies with us. We don't have the money. He doesn't play youth. He doesn't do anything. Please stop going on about Mourinho. We can turn him down because we're going to.
No manager's going to be able to win trophies with us for 40 years.
Exactly. Sean Jobson. Oh, God, my reading skills are terrible. It must be that little spot in my eye. That side. Losing ain't a problem. It's how you get beat. Masters of our own downfalls at times. I exactly agree. Jacob Venskunas says Chelsea 6-0. Exactly. Darren Jenkins, players need to get up to help Haller, as he will hold the ball up and flick it on every time, but pointless if the players don't help him. He had 2 forwards with him in Germany where we has 2 midfielders. I think you might see a little bit more of a different approach in the upcoming games. I said on post-match pint, we was caught between a rock and a hard place. They didn't know whether to attack or defend.
Yeah, and it's what I said, innit? When you play teams like Man City, you're better off going 1-0 up and trying to defend the lead than trying to, if you go 1-0 down and you got to attack them, because that's when teams like that punish you.
Matt Powell says, have you got a player's name on your back, Ryan? If not, who would you have?
No, I ain't got a name. I just about buy the shirts. I don't really buy the replica shirts, but if I was to have any name, it'd be Noble, but I wouldn't get a name on the back of my shirt.
HDTV says, why didn't you want Fornals to play? I just think tactically it was the right decision to not play him.
Yeah, it wasn't that we didn't want him to play. It's that I thought he was brought on a bit too soon. I thought Antonio, for me, would have been better staying on for at least the first 10, 15 minutes of the second half.
What should be the target from now to January? Top 8 and still in a Carabao Cup? Absolutely. Just do what you like. I don't think, obviously, you want like it's targeted amount of points, but I don't think there should be a definite target. Just go out there, take one game at a time, and win as many as you can. I think sometimes when it comes to like teams like us, I think we can be. That can sort of hinder us a little bit. We don't take it one game at a time. We get to a certain point, think we're doing all right, and then that's when we start to have a downfall. Just keep on going. Just go out and try and win every game. In my opinion, anyway.
What do you just quickly going off subject? Did you see Declan Rice's comments about the Tottenham player Dembele?
No.
Was it Dembele, their new player?
Dembele.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. Yeah, he just basically come out and he was just like really praising him, saying he can't wait to play against him. Tottenham are going to be up there going for the title and winning the Champions League and things like that. And I understand what he's saying, but look, as fans, we don't really want to hear him praising our rivals. That's for any London club. That's not just for Tottenham. So I was a bit surprised that Declan Rice come out with them comments, really. It hasn't gone down well on social media.
Really? Bit naivety. He's never really done anything like that, really, Declan, has he? He's look, at the end of the day, he's got an opinion, but maybe keep your mouth shut. Maybe learn that for next time. Rice was having a sly dig at our owners, methinks. I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking, to be honest with you. WHU, Mike, I get him, but it's different breed of football now. I mean, as a player, you would want to play versus the best in your position, I suppose. Then again, Mike, you want to play with the best in your position, I suppose. Do you know what I mean? Or challenge the best. Maxi Delivinghi, who would you sign mid-year? It's too early for that, Maxi. I've just finished talking about transfers for 3 months. I'm not answering a single question about transfers until at least December. Dan Thomas says, I won't get too discouraged getting battered by City. They are a giant. Absolutely. What do you think about Lanzini's contract?
Yeah, it'd be nice if within the next couple of weeks they announced that he signed a new deal. And I think the club are in talks with him. And it wouldn't surprise me if they do announce it, because it'd be a massive loss, especially for Peanuts, leaving the club. I thought he got slated a bit on Saturday. I know he goes down a bit too quick, but when he was on the ball and he had his head down, he was trying to take people on. It was like the old Lanzini. So I thought
criticism was harsh. I think he was the only one that was getting the ball and trying to make that happen.
The only criticism that I agree with was that he was going down a bit too. I mean, that when he went down for that penalty, no one even touched him and he went down. So I don't like things like that. But yeah, I think the contract, if it can get sorted, if we can announce a new deal with him, whether it be a 3 year or they hand out 5 year deals now these days, don't they? So hopefully in the next couple of weeks that gets announced.
Mark Sherburn Brown says, have we as a playing club improved, or with the players brought in, are we marking time? Are we this season going to get to the next level? Listen, it's very hard to judge. It's one game against, the absolute best team in Europe, best team in England, possibly one of the best in Europe. It's a very, very hard game to judge. I do agree with like some of the comments saying like, don't judge us on this performance. We'll put in a better performance and we won't judge you for one. But I do sort of agree with that, Ryan, ban this person as well. Is that fucking dickhead's back? Sofian Aftab says, we always bottle it in both clubs. Not enough English players who understand the cup. I'm assuming he says cups. We'll see this year. I fancy us to have a little cup run. Okay, so it's funny how Liverpool's season is in Adrian's hands. That's something we ain't talked about. We will talk about that.
Yeah.
Adrian's hands. Wish us luck. have a draw last season?
I've got Sky Sports News over in the corner now, and I see it just before we started this that it's he's out for a few weeks, so Adrian will be starting in the Super Cup on Wednesday, and yeah, he's a difficult one with Adrian, isn't it? Because I see the goal he conceded the other night, and he should have really saved it. Let's be fair, but look, it's his debut for Liverpool in front of the Kop. His nerves and adrenaline must have been all over the place. So look, we know Adrian. He's a good goalkeeper, and I said to someone today in work who's a Liverpool fan, I said, look, Adrian's a good shot stopper, but he's prone to making mistakes.
Absolutely. Look, listen. It's one of the things I never thought I'd see. You know, Adrian playing in European Cup finals and all that sort of nonsense. And I haven't seen the official news about Alisson yet, but he could be in there for a while. From what I hear.
They said it's weeks rather than months, so you're probably looking at about 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Snazzy TV says, Nicky, who is your favourite fan to interview after the game? I haven't really got one, mate. I like to listen to all opinions. I respect everyone's opinion. I don't agree with them. I respect them. Beyond belief, Pellegrini was the first non-European manager to win a Premier League since win a Premier League in 2014. I hope he can do that again. I doubt it, but I hope he can. Ruben Bloch says, do you think it's possible for the owners to sell a portion of the club to a larger investor to help us spend more money? That's a good question. Do I think it's possible? Yes. Do I think they're going to? No.
I think it will happen, but not yet. I'll probably say within the next 5 years, we'll either have new owners or they will have sold the majority of the club to someone else. Because I can see David Gold probably selling up before David Sullivan. But yeah, it's we definitely need some sort of investment if we want to move to the, as everyone says, the next level.
Listen, I can't see him selling parts of the club. I can't see them just selling parts of the club. I know that they had got an investor in a couple of years ago, Trip Taylor. He's an American, and they sold a small portion to him, and he sort of give a big cash injection. I'll be honest with you, I think that, or someone that he knows, will be our next owners. For me, they're only waiting for that tax levy, that sort of clause in their contract in a London stadium to be sort of expired. And with the Prime Minister being the Prime Minister, it could happen a bit sooner than, we imagined with, because he was the one that we done the deal with, you know what I mean, with the whole of the stadium. He's the one that sold it to us. He's the one that people should be complaining to. It all depends on whether the government want it off their hands, because it costs the government a lot of money. You know what I mean? That stadium. If they sort of waiver the rights to the stadium, say to us, either you have a chance to buy it, have a chance to keep it for free, or something like that, because it's just too much of a drain on the government. They could waive that. And yeah, if they've done that, they're quids in, to be quite honest with you, because it's land worth about £1 billion, I reckon.
Yeah, it's an investor's dream, isn't it? A club in London, big stadium, big fan base.
It's the thing is, if we got that sort of that sort of land for free, if they just sort of handed it over or give someone a chance to invest, you can do things like what Chelsea did, and that's build hotels, and that'd be something that someone would be very interested in doing, like the little Chelsea village that they've got.
Yeah, 100%, and that is the land itself is worth investing. But as I said, as a
£1 billion,
as a football club, as a big stadium, the fan base, you can't question our loyalty. What we've suffered over the past 10 years, relegations, we was selling out games in the Championship, we've been there through thick and thin even in the last 10 years. So there's no doubt in our loyalty as a fan base, and it is a huge fan base. So it would be an investor's dream, as I said, in London. But look, let's just hope that one day it does happen. But I don't think it'll be within the next 5 years.
To be honest with you, for the amount of money that it does cost the taxpayer, I'll be honest with you, for for the amount of money that it does cost the taxpayer, I wish they would just give us a chance to buy it, because someone's just coming up like, they can help all sorts of money with the money that they put into it. Yeah, it's a bum deal. The government, negotiate a bum deal, and the money, especially with what's coming up in the next couple of months, that could be a major factor, something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like when if sort of Brexit happens and we end up with a no deal, and sort of the economy starts to downturn a little bit, that could be a major factor in getting rid of it and trying to sort of keep resources. So, keep your eye on it. I don't know. Chelsea FC, yeah, Chelsea land since 1905. Well done. Are Chelsea they skint? They can't afford their own fans' TV. I think they've got a couple. I think they've got a couple of them. I want an Arab to take over. Look at Man City. Arabs are willing to put their money where their mouth is.
The thing is, one thing I will say about, I know a lot of people say they want Arab owners, and yeah, they would invest the money. But another thing they might do as well is they might up ticket prices. They might do, so it ain't always about because they're going to come in and spend the money, because they could change a lot with that football club. And I mean, at the moment, a lot of people moan about Golden Sullivan. I'm not their biggest fans, but you can't knock what they're doing for the affordable football now. I mean, an Arrow comes in, he could up the season tickets, he could double them, triple the prices. You never know. So it ain't always about wanting these big Arab owners. Yes, they're going to spend the money and bring in world-class players, but it's not always about that. Sometimes you just got to think of the fans as well.
Richard B says, upping ticket prices is a sign of success. That is wrong, Richard. That is absolutely wrong. Ask Arsenal fans. James Gunn, I would love to see someone like Leicester's owners. They seem to care about the fans.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Ivor Anthony, cheers, fellas. Working class clubs in the shadows of the great and good of football. Spot on, Ryan, says KDS88V. Do you believe the seats still need to be closer to the pitch?
Yeah, I do. Of course they do. They need to sort of, behind the goals, I think they can corner it off. The East and West Ham, they can't really corner that off. They can't straighten that out because it'd be too much work at the moment. But behind the goals, if they can get them a little bit closer, then it'd be good. It'd be good for the atmosphere as well.
Do you think poor fitness was a factor, conceding 3 goals last 30 minutes? Fitness gets results regardless of the ability of the players. Listen, it's the first game of the season. You're chasing shadows for 70 minutes. Of course, it's going to be a factor. Richard B says the seats are fine for baseball.
Put it this way, they probably done more running in that second half chasing the ball than what they've done in the whole of pre-season. So their fitness is going to improve.
So I just missed one there. Sam Dublau says seats definitely need to be closer. I'm in the fourth rank and sometimes I struggle to see his bollocks. My brother can't see a thing. My brother can't see a thing, honestly. My brother has got really bad eyesight. He's sort of registered blind. He wears these really thick glasses and stuff. And, he's sort of like been reluctant to go to like disabled seats and things like that. His eyesight is worsening as well. But he says to me sometimes, I can't see what the fuck's going on. You know what I mean? Like, here's a good question. Mac Powell, when do you go on holiday, Nicky? In 2 short weeks, mate. Less than 2 weeks now, as a matter of fact. Ray Borum, what is your worst tattoo? Mate, you don't want to look at me. If I take my shirt off, you wouldn't know where to look. They're awful, some of my tattoos. I'm telling you. Stupid as a youngster, letting people draw on me for practice. Crossdammer says, Gotti. Forever Blowing Bubbles. What changes would you make for the Brighton game?
Do you know what? I'll probably if Masuaku's fit, Masuaku for Creswell, and that'd probably be it. I'd probably start the same again with as long as everyone's fit. I'd probably go the same. You could probably question and maybe put 4 hours in for Antonio, but I think Antonio deserves to start after he performed in the first half. So yeah, probably the only change I'd make would be probably Masuaku for Creswell.
Amma Mandalia says, speaking of Brexit, did you both vote in or out? I don't vote, mate. I don't get involved in politics.
I ain't. No, I'm keeping my politics to myself because it gets too much. People get too abusive because you're going to say the wrong answer either way. So
I just don't get involved in it at all. At all. Like, I ain't got no politics. Like, let them get on with it. I don't give a shit what they're doing. Richard B, the track idea needs to die quickly. Then we can convert it into a proper stadium. It's costing so much. We'll get given the stadium in the end. Yeah, I believe that as well. Cliff Schaefer says, Nicky, I'll take your ticket for Norwich if you're still away. No, you won't. Edward Webster, good answer. Thanks. Carl says Antonio seems better on the right for some reason. Sorry, I must say, Cliff, I'm not trying to be rude, mate, but someone's going to take it. Martin Dew says you have to get involved in politics, Nicky. No, I don't.
you have to.
No, I don't.
That's why this country's failing, because of young people like you that do not get involved.
Young? Do you think better chance us getting top six or Brexit actually happening?
Brexit.
I've got no idea.
Brexit happening.
Breakfast. Snazzy TV on that. How difficult is it to get away tickets if you're not a season ticket holder? Difficult.
Very difficult. It's difficult when you are a season ticket holder.
As we know. Mr. Yardman, we've already answered that earlier in the show, mate. You're going to have to go back and have a look. From what item from the club shop would you buy if you could?
Anything retro. I did actually. I see a nice jacket in there the other day that I was eyeing up, but yeah, I need to stay at the club shop. Every time I go in there, but I was at Lakeside about an hour ago, and I walked past the shop, and I always have a little look in. I thought, let me go and have a look at their sale rail, see what they got, because you get a few of the t-shirts, and then you end up spending 30, 40 quid when you didn't want to.
Yeah, something for my son, Matt. He would appreciate it more than I would. Son Dublau says, mate, it's difficult when you're a season ticket holder. I try every week in the past 4 years. I've been to one away game. It's an absolute joke.
It is tough. It is tough. It is tough for people that ain't built up their points, you know. You cannot, people argue, yeah, but we go, so we build up our points, but some people don't get a chance to build up their points. So it's maybe the club need to sit down and maybe just do just first come, first serve, I think.
Jeremy Irons says, I think Lanzini on the left, Fornell's in the middle, and Felipe Anderson on the right.
It's a song, innit? Stuck in the middle with you.
Yeah, to the left, me Joker to the right. West Ham need to stop Umbro deal. We need Adidas and Nike. Jealous of Arsenal's one. Yeah, Arsenal's kit's very nice this year, I've got to admit.
Do you know what? I like Umbro.
Look at the one you've got on now, man. I honestly think, right, looking at all of the kits, I think this one that he's got on right now is one of the best in the league.
I'll tell you what, I like Burnley's kit as well. They're made by Umbro this season, and they've got a retro kit this season. So yeah, Umbro seem to do the retro kits, which I like.
Edward Denham, Nicky, why aren't you in your beer garden? Because I ain't got a beer, and it was pissing down the rain. Your kit is mint this year, says Rayham. Yeah, listen, I think that's the best in the league by far. I'm a little bit biased, obviously. I'm not going to make any apologies. Jack Roundtree, do you think we need to drop Anderson for a game or two and give him a chance back to his best? He got a little bit of a niggle on Saturday, didn't he? I don't know whether he's going to be available for Saturday.
Anderson?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they saying he's going to be available. One thing we haven't spoke about as well is Yarmolenko. There was rumours that he was out, but it's not. He was just left out of the match day squad on Saturday. You know, you can only put a certain amount of people, and if he's not fully fit, there's no point in risking him. But apparently he's been in training, so there was rumours. Someone started a rumour on Twitter, as they do, that he was out for months. Then someone jumps on it, and then all of a sudden, 10 minutes later, all the social media are slagging him off, saying what a waste of money when he's not even injured.
Yeah. We'll take a couple more, then I've got to go. It's 5-8. What's your most hated club?
Most hated club?
Yeah.
It's different. I mean, you go for you can say your Tottenhams, your Millwalls, your Chelsea, your London rivals, but I've always had I don't know. If I had to take out, if it not a London club, I'd probably say Aston Villa.
What?
I've always had a thing with Aston Villa. I just don't know.
What was the question? Your most hated club? You can pick someone in like Aston Villa. That's a really strange one.
No, do you know
I
what it
wasn't
goes back
expecting
to?
that at all.
No, do you know where it goes back to? It goes back to like years ago. Like they always won them teams that they'd lose every week, but they'd always seem to be above you. It's just one of them teams. And no, do you know what? It's a great away day. I'll take that back. I was just thinking on the spot, but yeah, fuck it, Tottenham.
Why CS4? Because they stole our colours, isn't it? No, yeah. They didn't steal them. They was we stole theirs. As a matter of fact, I think we won.
I'll take that back. I don't know why I said Aston Villa, but yeah.
Gary Marks, Birmingham FC, I detest. Yeah, they're a club I don't really like. Right, the dog's going mental. I've got to cut it down. We're going to take one more. Lewis Tucker, would you like to see 4-1-2-1-2 formation for the Brighton game?
Yeah, it's going to be difficult because Brighton obviously going to be a different setup from Man City. So I know we tried to play attacking against City, but we've probably got more. Obviously, we're going to have more chance of beating a Brighton if we attack them. We're not going to go to Brighton and sit back because look, we haven't beat Brighton since we've been in the Premier League.
Yeah,
they're a bogey team for us, so that's got to end sometime. And no, I'm looking forward to the game, and yeah, it's going to be interesting game.
Okay, brilliant. I don't know where it is, Jamie. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's live and uncut. We'll be back on Thursday again. We're going to try and get a guest on this week, aren't we?
Yeah, we'll have someone lined up.
We're going to try and get a guest on. I know a couple of people have asked us if they can come on. Thank you to everyone in the chat once again for joining us. Go and check out all our content if you didn't. We had a little announcement last night on Twitter if you didn't see it. We've got some T-shirts coming out, and they are the store is more or less ready to go. They're just adding the last bits and pieces now, so they'll be out in the next day or two. What do you think of them, Ryan?
Yeah, look, we're a bit biased because we've seen all the designs, but no, they're top quality, and they're fans T-shirts, in they. They're the sort of T-shirts that you can go down the pub or anything like that, and it go nice with jeans, shorts. You feel comfortable in it. Very retro designs. So yeah,
let's show them a couple before we go. This is sugar. I put it in the wrong thing.
Look.
No, look. I'll upload them now. This is a Haller design, which Sebastian Haller. So that is a design for Sebastian Haller. You can't really zoom in now. You can read the comments, mate, because I can't see them in a minute. You can't really see the thing, but it's like a French flag with hammers in the middle. This is a Felipe Anderson design, which I'm in love with these T-shirts. Honestly, I think these are the best things I've ever seen. This is our Felipe Anderson design, like a Brazil-style kit. We'll show one more before we go because I don't want to bore anyone with an advert. Let's see. I can't find it anymore, actually.
Gazelle.
Hey? Right,
Where's the one with the trainer?
I'm trying to find it. I can't find it. No, I can't find it. Here we go.
Shop shut.
When it loads, yeah, shop shut. It's when it loads up anyway. Yeah. There we go. Boom.
Yeah, that's my favourite. Love that. Hang on, what am I doing? That way. Love it. That's a nice design. If you zoom in on the trainer, it says East London.
East London on the stripes, yeah. Fantastic designs, and as I said, the store will be up soon, so they will be available very, very, very soon. Can you put them on eBay? And have you got one yet, Nikki? I will have one tomorrow, I believe, or the next day. Everyone's saying they're very nice. I'll buy some West Ham toilet paper, says the Chelsea FC fans. You might need it, mate, because you're going to shit yourself this season. Yeah, so that's it, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. West Ham Fan TV Live. Go and check out all our content. We'll be back on Thursday as a super guest. One thing left to say, Ryan.
Come on, you irons.
Come on, you irons.